Now let's talk about laying out our blog. When you go into layout, you'll see a screen like this. What we have on here right now are two elements that come standard on here. And what you can do is you can go in and edit them. Pop-up blog pops up, and then you can give it a title here, and then there's other settings in each of them. They'll be different for each element. About me, this is where you can set up something about yourself. Just change the title, and then you can add whatever information you want on here. So those are the two that are already on here when you set your blog up, but there are more. All you have to do is click on Add a Page Element, and then a pop-up comes up like this, and then you can choose from any of the elements that you want in here, and there are quite a lot of them. Since we're actually concentrating on marketing in this particular blog, I'm going to use things that I would use in a marketing blog. Of course, you can use any of the elements you want to use, but I'm going to concentrate on a few here that I would use. First of all, I would use a link list. This allows you to link to your other sites. So I'd add this to the blog just by clicking on there. Then up here, we can give it a title. Then we can give it the number of links we want to show. If we want to just show them all, then we leave it blank. And then we can sort it either alphabetically or reverse alphabetically, or not sorted at all. Now down here is where we add our links and the name of the link. So we just put our URL in there and the name of it here, and then we click Add Link. And then you'll see that the link shows up down here. And when you've added all of your links, all you have to do is save the changes, and then that page element appears on your blog. Now what we can do also is we can move these around just by putting your mouse on it, holding down the left mouse key, and then dragging it where you want it. Like so. Okay, now let's go back to page elements again. Now I would also probably add a picture. And up here we give it a title and a caption, and then we upload our image here. Or we can get it from the web. So all you have to do is click Browse and then browse your computer for the image, or type in the URL down here. So we just pick the image from our computer, and then it uploads it here. And we just save this. Now back into page elements. Now to monetize our blog, I would usually put AdSense on it as well. So we'll add to the blog. Now what you need to do here is you need to type in your AdSense email address and apply if you don't have an account. Otherwise, you can sign into your AdSense account just by clicking here, and then you give your AdSense ID in here, and then you sign in. And once you've signed in, you can pick the layout that you want here. Then you can pick the colors. We're going to blend into the template here, or match a template. There's lots of things you can do. Just pick the one you want here. We have a preview down here. Okay, so let's change it to that. Then when you're happy with that, all you have to do is click Save Changes. Now we're likely going to want to move some things around here again. Just save that however you want. Now let's go back to page elements again. Now down here you could add some text to your blog as well. If you want to add an introduction, you could do that by adding this block. What I want to do is I want to add an opt-in box. So I'm going to add this here, the HTML JavaScript. So let's add that. Then what I would do is I could put a title in here, and then down here I would paste in my JavaScript code. So I signed into my autoresponder and I got the code, so I just paste it in here and then save the changes. Now back to page elements again. And I might want to add a poll here as well. So we click add to blog, and then we can give our questions and answers here. We can add more answers by clicking down here, and then we can click if we want them to be able to have multiple answers. Give it a poll closing date and we can add it. I'm not going to add that one, but one more that I do want to go over briefly is the slideshow. Let's just have a look at how this works. I'm not actually going to add it in this case, but I just want to show you how this works because it is kind of a neat feature. What this does, it allows you to bring in slideshows from a number of sites: Flickr, PhotoBucket, Picasa, and even other. You can just set a feed up here. For instance, if we look at Flickr, if you have a user account at Flickr, you can just select user, put your username in here, and it will bring in all of your pictures and show it as a slideshow on your blog. Same deal with Picasa. You can go by keyword or album here. So if you have an album on Picasa, you just put your username in here, and then you can pick your album and it'll show up on your blog as well. PhotoBucket. Now PhotoBucket, you just key in a keyword here and it'll bring in related keywords and show them as a slideshow on your blog. And other, this allows you to bring in a feed, an RSS feed from another site. So if you have your photos hosted where there's an RSS feed to the photos, you can place the feed in here. Then you can click if you want to open it in a new window or if it's just going to open in the same window it's in. So that's how that works if you want to add a slideshow. Okay, in this case I now have everything I want on my blog. So last thing you would do is make sure you have everything the way you want it. Now if you want to remove something from here, for instance, I'm going to remove the About Me. So all you have to do is go into Edit, and then down at the bottom here, just remove page element. And that's now gone. Okay, when you're happy with that, just save it by clicking up here at the top. Okay, now there's some other things we can set here. For instance, our navigation bar. We can select from any one we want here. Now you can actually set this too. We've already set this before, but you can also set it from here. And there's a few more options on here as well. You can bring an image in, and then you can tell it where you want it placed over here. I'm just going to leave that alone. And then down here, you can configure your blog posts. Alright, so once we're happy with all that, now what we can do is we can set our fonts and colors. So you can change any of these types of elements here, and then you can pick from the palette on this side. You can also add HTML. This allows us to go into the template and actually change code in the template. You do not want to do this unless you know what you're doing. And then if you want to pick a new template, you can just do it right here. Pick a new template and then save it. That's really all there is to setting it up. Now let's go have a look at what our blog looks like now. Now there's no content on here yet. We haven't posted anything. But we did set up our page elements. We set up our description, our title up here. We have our image. We have our subscribe part we put here. We have our related sites. And we have our Google AdSense ads showing. So now all we have to do is start posting. So let's just make a quick post. We'll just go back into the back end. And then we'll go to posting. And we can create a post. We can edit posts here. We can moderate comments. This is where we do all of this. Of course, we have no post on here, so the first thing we're going to do is create a post. Now remember, when we set up our posting template, we set some code to show up automatically. Let's just go to Edit HTML. And you'll see that we put in image source equals, and we put in blanks, which it filled in by itself here. So we can just either, at this point, we would fill out what we want in here, but we could go and take that out of our post template if we don't want it there anymore. Well, let's just go back to compose mode, and then you can add your post content in here. We also can add a link in here, which we set up in our settings as well, that we were going to allow a link with the post. And then if we wanted our title to link to a website, all we have to do is put the link in down here. Now we would go ahead and we can write our post. You'll see that we have a rich text editor in here that allows us to do a number of things, add pictures in and set the fonts and all of this stuff, set the alignment, just like a small word processor. So you can just go ahead and type your post in here. Okay, so I've added some code here in compose mode. Now if I want to add some HTML, I could just click Edit HTML and I can paste my HTML code directly in here. In this case, I'm going to want to put another web form in here, so I'm going to go ahead and paste the HTML code in. So I'll just paste the code in there. And when we're done, we can just publish the post. Now there's some other post options you can set over here as well. If you click down here and see post options, you can choose whether you want to allow the reader to comment or not. Then you can set the post date and time. By setting this to the future, it actually won't show up until that future date. Once you're ready, just publish the post. Now let's have a look at our blog. There you see that our first post is up, and we have our opt-in form down here, and we're all set. So all we have to do now is start posting on our blog. Everything's all set up. Well, that concludes this video. In the next video, we're going to go over how to set it up on your own hosting and how to get traffic to your blog.